Hey guys, how's it going? Today we're going to be reading another Medium article, and this one is titled, I try to live by this one quote and it works every time. If you only remember one truth, make it this one. This is written by Thomas Opong. I'm always on the lookout for really good sayings or quotes and things like that. So yeah, this article caught my eye when I was just scrolling. So let's get right into it. All right, nice little hero image. The older I get, the clearer it becomes that life is a process of becoming, not a fixed state, but stages we go through. Wisdom is slow reveal, an experience that compounds, that's no arrival, only lessons learned. We grow one hard lesson at a time. You don't get all the answers at once. I really like how this is written. It's very epic, I feel. But yeah, I agree with this sentiment that we grow one hard lesson at a time and you don't get all the answers at once. I really like this kind of statement. You know, one thing about learning and growth in general, everything that's worth going after, it should be kind of hard. Oftentimes, the most rewarding things always comes after something that was really hard. You know, there's this whole cat and mouse thing where you want to chase after something, and oftentimes the act of chasing after your goals is actually more rewarding than the goal itself. So if you ever felt very sad or purposeless, once you achieve something you kind of lost motivation, this is kind of a very common thing. So I always think about this and I try to change the way I make do goal setting instead. You know, I make it very grand, very big, very long term, and kind of ambiguous. For this YouTube channel, I don't really have goals. I just want to make content and then making content the goal. You know, it's not really oh, I want to get this many subs, this much whatever. It's really just about the act of doing. You earn them step by step. That's why philosopher and astronomer Hypatia's wisdom makes a lot of sense. She notes, life is an unfoldment, and the further we travel, the more truth we can comprehend. Yeah, that makes sense. To understand the things that are at our door is the best preparation for understanding those that lie beyond. Am I saying this right? I'm technically an immigrant, so my English is not perfect.
Hypatia.
Okay. Hypatia's idea of life as an unfoldment is spot on. Like any journey, you start local, right where you are. Life is growth, and the more we travel, the more truth we can understand. Understanding the things that surround us is the best preparation to understanding the things that lie beyond, she wrote. Okay, this is getting deep. Erickson, great name. There's some funny things about names. Some people are born, they're almost predestined to do what they're named. When I worked at Capital One, our CEO, his name was Rich Fairbanks, and he owned a bank, and he was rich, and he was fair. I just think he was so made to to start a bank. A development psychologist thought every single stage of life has its own challenge and its own wisdom. The sense of identity provides the ability to experience oneself as something that has continuity and sameness, and to act accordingly, he said. Erickson's psychological stages. Okay. What is this? Infancy, early childhood. Experience is the slow teacher. It compounds like interest. The more you live, the more it gives back, but only if you pay attention. This is really fascinating. I really like this. Here's my thought on this. I 100% agree that experience is a slow teacher. Especially as an engineer, I have a little over 10 years of experience now, and every year I could kind of feel myself getting better and more wise, and the decision making that I land when I work on things, it just becomes a lot more fine-tuned. Sometimes people have said that I can see the future. It's not that I can see the future, it's just that I've seen this problem before. A lot of times we'll have arguments or disagreements, or we want to try to figure out different paths. Maybe leads will tell us to do something, and then oftentimes I can say what's going to happen if we go down a certain route, and most of the time I'm correct. So I think that's kind of this part about experience being a slow teacher, because it takes time for you to earn those scars, for you to learn from them, right? It's unique experiences, they compound, and then the more experience you have this wider depth of understanding. And I have had experiences where I thought I knew something some situation, but like years down the line, I had a different learning that like changed my perspective of the earlier learnings. This last part, but only if you pay attention, I think this is really important about introspection. I think like as an engineer or just like someone who cares about growing and learning, introspection is really important. I'll spend time where I'm just not doing anything. I'm just like thinking about myself, how I'm doing, how I'm feeling. Most people looking for meaning out there, in big goals, in future plans, in things they haven't experienced yet. But the best place to begin is here, now. Right at your own front door. That's why I stopped rushing answers. I've started sitting with questions. Poet Rainier Maria Rilke once said, "Be patient towards all that is unsolved in your heart, and try to love the questions themselves." I really like this too. Like locked rooms and like books that are now written in a very foreign tongue. Do not now seek the answers which cannot be given you because you will not be able to live them. And the point is to live everything, live the questions now. Perhaps you will then gradually, without noticing it, live along some distant day into the answers. And I do. So I think this overall high level thing is saying don't worry too much about the future. Just like focus on the now, be present, and you will eventually learn things. But I do think like looking out to the future is important as well, because clarity comes from living, not just thinking. Understanding grows with experience. Some things become more obvious as you age. Things you couldn't understand 10 years ago most likely make sense now because you grew and you didn't just read more, you lived more. You saw things break, you saw things heal. Those experiences changed you. They gave you new realities. There's a term for it. Epistemic humility. It's knowing that your understanding is always partial, always in progress. The ancient Greeks were big on this. Socrates said, "The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing." Ooh, that is great. Staying curious with the mindset that life is an unfoldment is how you allow life to pass through you, with you, and for you. This is really great. The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. This reminds me of like this kind of saying in software engineering where the longer you work in the industry, the more you realize you don't know anything. So I know a lot about, Android, backend, frontend. I know how to make these programs, but there's just so many things that I know that I don't know. Like even within like Android, which I like do at work, there's so many things within Android development that I just don't know and I just haven't dug deep into. And even with digging deep, there's probably more layers and layers that I don't know. But yeah, this is a really good thing. Truth evolves. What's true for you today might not be true tomorrow. You change. It's like reading a book twice. The words don't change, but you do. And that changes everything. This is why Hypatia's message matters. She's saying, handle what's in front of you, face it with honesty that prepares you for the bigger stuff later. It's tempting to want answers now, but I've come to believe that wisdom has a pace. You can't rush it. Some people jump ahead, hungry for big answers, only to realize they skipped foundational truth. Understanding begins with patience and presence. You take yourself wherever you go. That's why understanding what's at your door is so important. It builds the inner scaffolding for bigger truth. It's the foundation. The stronger it is, the more you can hold. I am to live by Hypatia's words every day. I can't race towards the distant truth or wisdom. I can only pay close attention to the experience in front of me. I trust that life will unfold, not all at once, but exactly when I'm ready for it. You don't have to understand everything today. You just have to be willing to experience all of life. In your thoughts, relationships, and fears, the better you understand those, the better you'll understand everything else. What confuses you today will make sense tomorrow. Experience is always the missing teacher. I think while I agree that you kind of have to be present and like not worry about everything all at once because it could get overwhelming, I kind of somewhat disagree with this like lesson or way of living of always just being present, because I do think having a future goal or like a future state of mind is important for me when I think about what I don't know or think about what I want to do in life. I really think about where I want to be 5 to 10 years from now. And that's kind of like my direction. I always think about this every now and then, like, am I making meaningful progress every day or in every like milestone that I'm like kind of anchoring myself to? Am I going towards that goal? The things that you do, they compound. Just like your experiences compound, like the author is saying, everything that you do compounds and you will end up somewhere. So James Clear writes in his book Atomic Habits, you're gonna go somewhere. You're on a boat in life, you're gonna go to a destination, and if you don't have like a specific goal and then you're not making changes with your habits to go to that goal, you'll end up somewhere at the end of the day, but you may not end up where you want to go. I always think about atomic habits, like habits are very important. So while I agree with some of this article, I don't agree about being 100% present all the time. Life will always be a process of self-becoming. It will shrink or expand in proportion to the experience you're willing to tolerate. I like what writer Annis Nin said. Life is a process of becoming, a combination of states we have to go through. Where people fail is that they wish to elect a state and remain in it. This is kind of death. Lean into your own story, pay attention to what challenges you, what teaches you, what moves you. That awareness prepares you for everything else that's coming. Every experience, every lesson reveals another layer of understanding. Hippocrates' wisdom wasn't just for ancient Alexandrians. It's for you and me today. Pay attention to today's lessons. They're preparing you for tomorrow's mysteries. The farther you go, the more you'll realize life's hidden truth were never far away. They were always at your door waiting for you to notice. Keep walking, keep learning. Grow into answers. I'll give some claps for this. I like this article. I think there were strong parts of this article, and then there were some parts that kind of fell flat, personally. The writing started out really well, but then like I think the author stayed in this kind of like epic way of writing a little bit too long. So I started getting like a little, I don't know, it felt like he was repeating his points a little bit too much. But fundamentally, some of this stuff was very good. I think I spent a really long time in this one sentence. I really like this sentence. I think this, out of all of this, I think this one sentence, this one quote is my favorite. I hope you guys enjoyed this quick reaction. I do a bunch of these reactions. It's actually become one of the stable formats in my YouTube channel. I just really like it and enjoy it, and it's very fun for me to make. But yeah, if you like these kind of videos, I'll have an entire playlist, so go check that out. Until then, subscribe, leave me some comments, and I'll see you guys on the next one.